I'm a Republican Latina. Of course they're gonna tell me that I have a nopal en la frente. I'm a Republican Latina. Of course ICE doesn't scare me. I'm a Republican Latina. Of course they're gonna call me racist. Before you see this one, just letting you know, for all the softies on the internet, you guys are gonna be mad. I'm a Republican Latina who can do both. I'm a Republican Latina who only believes in 2 genders. I'm a Republican Latina. Of course the lefties are gonna tell me that I'm gonna be deported. I'm a Republican Latina who 100% believes that Jesus should be put back in the classrooms. I'm a Republican Latina, and I don't support no fucking rainbow flag. I'm a Republican Latina, and I believe that if you came here illegally, you could get the fuck out. I'm a Republican Latina who's anti-abortion. I'm a Republican Latina who believes in protecting our borders. I'm a Republican Latina who likes my culture, but I love my country more. I'm a Republican Latina. Of course they're gonna call me a torta. I'm a Republican Latina, and of course I believe in keeping dicks out of women's sports and bathrooms. I'm a Republican Latina, and of course they're always gonna tell me I will never be like them, aka white. I'm a Republican Latina. Of course I'm gonna be called a traitor. I'm a Republican Latina, and of course I'm not gonna be claimed by the raza. I'm a Republican Latina, and of course I believe in making America great again.
Hi, I'm Republican Latina here with this beautiful Helen that follows me. I am honored that we not only met in this historic day, women for Trump, Hispanics for Trump, Latinas for Trump, and we have a bright future as women. We are the future of this country. We know what a woman is, we defend women, and we're all for Papi Trump. Viva Trump. Viva Trump, si se pudo.
I have so many Hispanic haters down my DM calling me names, saying I have no heart, I'm not empathetic with the mass deportations. First of all, I voted for that. But second of all, I want to clarify something. I want to take you guys back to 2017 when President Trump offered DACA a pathway to citizenship on 3 separate occasions, okay? All he said was, give me money for my border wall and more border security. And I'll include a pathway for over 1.2 million people, contingent that they do have a criminal record, have jobs, etc. Democrats, under the leadership of Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House, denied it on 3 separate occasions. And you want me to feel bad? See, every other racial or ethnicity in this country, whether it's Jewish Americans, whether it's smart ones, right? Because we have a lot of retarded ones. Whether it's the Syrian people, President Trump was open to meeting with everybody this last election cycle, and he did. Libertarians, the MAGA people in Kennedy's camp, the Cuban Americans, they all get things done in Washington, D.C. You're telling me Mexican Americans and Hispanics that want amnesty or some sort of pathway to citizenship aren't able to organize rally and meet with President Trump before the election? Why don't you guys do that? Oh, because you can't organize and you can't get shit done. All you can do is cry racism when shit goes bad, like it's happening right now. Yeah, that's why I don't feel bad.
Florida for more than half his life and worked for the same construction job for many decades. Every day that goes without him here is a day lost forever. This is about being human, about love, connection, and presence. The one thing he needs the most is the one thing that we're being kept from giving him, which is us. I feel that it would be immoral and inhumane to let a man who is suffering, who is terminally ill, spend what little time he has left in pain and isolation. Please don't let him die in a cell. Please don't let his final memories be of those of pain and isolation.
So they were proud, loud, cheering for mass deportation, standing at Trump rallies like they made it, right? Like they were finally part of the club, talking about 2 genders, illegals, and how Trump was gonna clean it up. But now that ICE is knocking on their door, the tears are flowing. Now that their own fathers are being detained, now it's a problem. Now, you all choose whiteness over your own community. You thought if you wore the hat, the MAGA hat, and repeat the slogan, you'd be safe. But Trump doesn't see you as American. He sees a last name he doesn't like, and that's all it takes. So don't look for sympathy now. Let's look at what happens when Latino MAGA got played by Trump himself. Like, subscribe, let's go into the video.
I was convinced that voting for Trump was for the economy or against crime, when in reality I was supporting a man and a movement that dehumanizes people. He basically built his platform on targeting immigrants, spreading hate, and I feel that it would be immoral and inhumane to let a man who is suffering, who is terminally ill, spend what little time he has left in pain and isolation. Please don't let him die in a cell. Please don't let his final memories be of those of pain and isolation. The American flag stands for compassion, kindness, liberty, and justice for all. We're all human, and today I'm asking for one human act of compassion to please let my dad come home.
Yes, to the lady.
These days it would be for me to say that I wasn't thinking when I voted or that I don't watch the news. I had to ask myself the same question that hundreds of you are asking me, is why did I vote the way I did? I've spent the last few days reflecting, and I feel like I came through some sort of revelation, or like blindfolds were ripped off my eyes. I started seeing things differently. I questioned my beliefs, my choices, and my role in all of it. I started to realize that it wasn't just this one choice I made. It was kind of a accumulation of choices I've been making for years. Like, for example, when I had my first daughter, I never taught her Spanish because I didn't care to have her learn Spanish. And after having my second daughter, I kind of knew that I was a hardworking man. He raised me and my 4 siblings, and now he's fighting for his life in a cell. I'm still fighting with everything I have to see if I can get him released so that he's able to spend his final days at home surrounded by his family and his children. When I voted for Trump, I supported the very system that allows this kind of cruelty to happen. That is a choice that I have to live with. Some people have said that my family deserves this, or that I or my dad deserve it, or that
one thing your dad needs the most is his family. And that is the one thing that his own daughter kept from him by voting for Trump, because you thought you were white. But this is the most extreme reality check for you, that your proximity to whiteness, that your white husband, your white baby, your white in-laws, your new white family, none of that means you are white. And it's not going to protect you, and it didn't protect your dad. You voted for a man who you knew was immoral and inhumane, who ran on mass deportation and said,
"They're poisoning the blood of our country." That's what they've done.
Immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. He's talking about your dad. He's talking about you. But you thought other people would suffer, and you were perfectly okay with that because you thought you were white. So that makes you immoral and inhumane for voting for Trump. And therefore, you voted for your own father, who is suffering, who is terminally ill, to spend what little time he has left in pain and isolation, to die in a cell with his final memories being pain and isolation. You got to spend the rest of your life knowing that this is how your father died because of your vote. This is an extreme example of how pathetically desperate some brown and black people are for white acceptance and white validation. They will trade in their own family and loved ones for it. That self-hate that stems from generations of internalized racism, the need to still assimilate to whiteness, is still so ingrained in so many Latinos, who will erase themselves just to be disposable to people who will never accept them. She's a perfect example. She was dumb enough to let those people use her for her vote, and now she's disposable to them in the worst way possible.
So this is where fantasy shatters. The proud supporters now face a reality they ignored. Their own family is getting ripped apart, crying on camera, begging for help. But this ain't sympathy season. Voting for mass deportation wasn't just words, it was a death sentence for their loved ones. They chose Trump's America over their own blood. And Trump, he never promised protection, just chaos for anyone he deemed other. This is the price of being blinded by a lie. And sadly, it's only getting worse.
What irks my soul is seeing some of you Trumpies talk about legality and how these undocumented immigrants shouldn't be here and they're happy they're being deported because they broke the law and they should have done it the legal way, knowing damn well you break the law on a daily basis. Talking about legality as if you're not sniffing that every single time you go out clubbing every weekend. Talking about legality as if you're not popping pills every time you go to a music festival. Talking about legality when you don't even file your taxes correctly or claim all your tips and wages. Talking about legality as if you're not dating that thug-ass boyfriend that's a scammer, drug dealer. One, you don't give a shit about the law. And two, you talk about don't threat on me, limited government. Yeah, you're rooting for a militarized force to go against protesters. Those hippie liberals from California, those deranged freaks, are way more anti-establishment than you gun-toting liberty defenders will ever fucking be. You're a bootlicker.
I was discussing with my mom the family members that we have who are Trump supporters. One, we understand. She's born here in the United States. I don't know how many generations American. So she didn't grow up the way that my family from Mexico grew up. So she doesn't understand. She's very religious. So I think we don't agree with her political views, but we can see why she is gravitating in that direction. But there's a couple of other ones who were actually born in Mexico who crossed over illegally. And now they both are citizens, one in the military, the other one married to a United States citizen. And we just can't fathom why they would support someone who is so against who is so against their very existence and their families. Like, it just makes no sense. But I think we got to the bottom of it. I think what it is that they are dying inside to be white. They live in an area that's full of white people, if I remember correctly. I don't really have a lot of communication with them, but they are most definitely dying to be white people. And they're bending over backwards and fucking smiling at the racist jokes. But they don't care because they don't see themselves as one of us. They want to be them so bad that they allow the racism and the insults to our people, and they take it with a smile. And I think that's Latinos for Trump in a nutshell. Like, if they voted for Trump and they're Latino, specifically those who are actually immigrants from other countries or first, even second generation Latinos. Sorry, I was rudely interrupted by someone. But as I was saying, I think that is Latinos for Trump in a nutshell. They want to be white so bad that they just bend over backwards for the oppressor and they take it with a smile. It's kind of sad. But, that was my insight for the day.
Do you know who is starting to come across my FYP that is totally pissing me off? It's not maggots. Well, it is the maggots. They're a piece of shit and they're dumb as hell. They piss me off every day. But it is this whole group of the Latinos that went and voted for Donald Trump. I guess you could say they fucked around and found out, and they went and voted for a man that we told them do not vote for. They went and voted for the man that said he is going to do exactly what he is doing, and they want sympathy from us? I don't care. I don't care at all. Fuck you, and I hope you get deported.
No sugarcoating here. These women are speaking facts. The pain, the betrayal, the internal conflicts in the Latino community runs deep. Wanting to be white, turning against your own people, that's the root of this mess. But hearing too late isn't just warning, it's a cold reality check. When you help tear apart your own community, there is no undo button. This isn't just politics, this is identity, loyalty, and survival. And as the next elections come, remember these voices. Because if this cycle continues, no one wins. Only more pain, more division, and more regret. They stood proud, thinking they were untouchable. They pointed fingers at illegals like it was someone else's problem. Never theirs. They waved their MAGA hats like a badge of honor, forgetting those hats don't protect blood or family. But reality doesn't care about your political slogan or your empty promises. You don't care that your father is sick. You don't care that your family is begging for mercy. IC doesn't ask questions, it only enforces orders. This is Trump America, a place where loyalty means nothing unless you fit the right box. And guess what? You don't. You sold out your own community for a lie, for a fantasy that said if you act white enough, they will accept you. But whiteness is not a shield, it's not a safe place. It's a marriage that disappeared the moment power needs a scapegoat. So here's the hard truth. The pain you are feeling now is the price of betrayal. It's the cost of turning your back on people who love you just to chase the pipe dream. And no, it's not sympathy you deserve, it's accountability. You helped breed this system of fear and deportation. You shared as families were torn apart, as communities were crushed. Now you are in a wreckage and you want lifeline? Too late. To the next one watching, the ones thinking this can't happen to them, remember this story. When you vote for hate, when you choose division, when you stand with those who dehumanize others, you are signing your own death warrant. Power doesn't care about royalty, it only cares about control. And when you are no longer useful, you are next on the list. Remember that. So if this is your wake-up call, good. But don't expect forgiveness from those you turned your back on. This is what Make America Great really looks like. And it ain't pretty. Like, subscribe, stay woke, or don't. But don't say nobody want y'all. See you to the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Wish you love and peace.